All right, we got a little traffic here, so we're going to chill out because that's what the 2021 Genesis G80 is designed to do, is just chill out.
This is a cruiser car, for sure.
My cone's in it. Turbo, come on. Go, go, go. All right. Traffic.
So we're already into one of my major thoughts on this car.
Okay, good.
And that is, here is a luxury sedan from Genesis. It's good looking. It's nice to be in.
Great.
I'm continually impressed with it.
Yes.
And then I happen upon the stat that is the engine.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
A 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
In what is essentially a 5 Series or E-Class competitor.
It's a big car.
It's a big car.
Long wheelbase.
4,200 pounds in this car. And so
big.
I was shocked to see a 4-cylinder as the engine. And then conversely, to get in it and discover that it's more powerful than I expected.
Yes.
I still don't think it's actually enough for this class of vehicle.
I mean, you want that 3.5 liter.
I think you do too, because it gets you almost 400 horsepower.
But you're
But
paying
at the same
more.
time, this consistently surprises me with how fast it can get going, because it's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a turbo. But then I flip side and go, do you want to spend this much money on a luxury sedan and have a 4-cylinder?
Well,
it's hard. It's difficult.
That's a good point.
That's difficult.
Well, this car hangs out at 90. It is most comfy. And doing its thing in a straight line. In a straight line.
Yes.
At 90 miles an hour.
Yes.
And it's great. It's comfortable. The thing about this car is it has drive modes.
It does.
It has sport mode. And I'm tired of cars at this level having sport mode that just change the shift point and maybe make the throttle a little bit more sensitive. I have an idea to solve all of this.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Each mode should be sponsored by a pharmaceutical company.
I'm waiting for you to land this plane.
You could dial from Ambien, we're just cruising, we're just lethargic, all the way up to Adderall, where the car comes alive, but it's not sport mode, because you don't want to do any sporty driving in a car that's this heavy, that has a wheelbase this long, and frankly isn't designed to do it. But if we had each sponsored level and a little commercial, now to keep things interesting, we would have to have some sort of side effect with each mode. So say you're in Adderall mode or Ritalin.
You're horrified.
But the seat is on full blast the whole time, or the stereo's on full blast the whole time. So you're getting sporty driving, but
but it's yelling at you.
That would keep things interesting. The point is, I don't think this car needs a sport mode. I don't think it deserves a sport mode unless you have the larger engine and it's set up to do sporty driving.
It doesn't.
It's just not necessary.
I hear you. I hear you. I also wonder if you do your idea. This car is $57,000, which is honestly, for what you get, is a bargain. But if we do the sponsored drive modes, we could bring down like 35. The first VHS that was mass sold to the public, because before Top Gun, you couldn't buy a VHS tape of something without it costing something like $100 a tape. And Pepsi came alongside the movie Top Gun and put a Pepsi commercial at the front of Top Gun and brought those videotapes down to like $19.99, and that was the first one ever because it was subsidized. That's taking you back in history right there.
That's wonderful.
That's
what a
where
great
you've
idea.
just gone for cars, Ambien mode and Adderall mode. But the problem that I'm concerned is, how addicted are we all going to be to those drugs if we keep seeing them advertised in our cars?
Well, very true, but that's what I'm saying. To keep it all interesting, you have to have a little bit of a side effect here.
That has side effects. The fact is I'm being sold stuff in my car. That's the side effect.
It's coming anyway.
Oh,
so let's just embrace it.
No.
Bring the cost of cars down, because this is a great car. I like it a lot. Except for the turbo lag.
Well, and it should be
go.
more. I mean, that's surprising once it gets up on boost.
Power.
It's good.
It moves.
It is good. It should be more in this class of vehicle. And also, if you're competing with the Germans here,
which they are.
BMW, the 5 Series, the A6 or the S6 if you want, and the E-Class, all of those feel like the dynamics are better sorted.
I totally agree. This car has electronically controlled suspension, and it has something called road preview, and based on the cameras in the nose, it's not a full adaptive suspension. It's sensing what the road is doing and adjusting accordingly. The problem is when you put it in Ritalin mode or Provigil,
Ritalin mode. That's good. I like that.
The car is now trying to do things that you're trying to overcome with sporty driving. So you go through a corner, and the car still does that cork on the ocean, sporty driving.
Cork on the ocean. I like that.
But you can't control it very well, and because of the machine learning speed control assist, you're fighting the motors, so it's actually heavier feeling through the corners, combined with a suspension not set up for sporty driving, and it doesn't plant the car, and now you're adding power, and so the car doesn't know what to do through the corners. So you're just cork on the ocean through the entire corner and fighting it the entire way. Until you get to a straightaway like this, and everything is solved.
It's solved.
We're good. This is the place I want to be.
This is a road trip car.
It's wonderful.
The average person that commutes long distances or sits in traffic or is actually doing, like, I want to go cross country, you are hard pressed to beat this car in those scenarios.
Yes.
It's the look at this fast corner, I wound up on a back road, or all of a sudden I need a ton of power. This can't quite compete in those. And I think that's a place where the German competitors surprise you.
They do. You're paying for that.
You're paying a lot more to get this level of luxury feel out of a German competitor. Look, $57,000 here. My guess is 77, maybe 97, depending on how you spec it. $20,000 to $40,000 more for a car that feels as luxurious in the places where this shines.
This is wonderful for road trips, as Todd said. The engine, actually, the inline 4 is mounted center line. So it's this new platform, this M3 platform, is designed for all of Genesis SUVs and cars. And it's designed to be either, well, take two different kinds of engines, actually three, including an engine we don't get.
Yeah, there's a diesel,
that means this platform works for both SUVs and CUVs, and it just gives this nice, really comfortable, what Lexus should be kind of drive experience. But the sport part of it isn't there.
Genesis keeps doing what Lexus did 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When Lexus came out, it was like, Toyota's making luxury cars, how do we feel about that? And then they were great, okay? This is, Hyundai's making luxury cars, how do we feel about that? Guess what? They're great. It's the exact same narrative.
Buy this car, buy this car.
They're doing great stuff. And this is the same platform, you already brought it up, that is shared by the G80, which we drove recently. That is their big SUV that we also thought was very impressive. Genesis stuff is really good. It's not as do-it-all versatile as what it's competing with, but back to the Lexus point, neither was Lexus when they came out.
Neither was Lexus.
Lexus just picked reliability and good dealer experience and a nice place to be, and they threw out most of the dynamics and just created nice cars. And that's what this is doing.
The seat, the driver's seat, has 7 air bladders. Not just for comfort, but for posture too. They have thought about this as a road trip vehicle. There's plenty of space in this car. It's superb if you have the right mindset on why you're buying it and what it's for.
Well, I mean, look, even to road trip point, they've got that center console in the back for your passenger, where the passenger can control all kinds of things, including the heated and cooled seats and that kind of stuff. By the time you get into that kind of tech in the German competitors, you are spending almost double.
Yeah, very true.
By the time you get that kind of setup.
Which makes this a bargain.
This is very, very impressive. And look, it has all the same trappings, if you will, that you would find in all the competitors. It's got jewel-looking stuff, it's got wood-looking stuff, it's got lots and lots of tech. You're hard-pressed to sit here and go, yeah, I got more.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
So look around the car. Look at the exterior first. You have the parabolic line from the headlights running all the way through, which is a consistent theme now throughout Genesis. And it's beautiful. Accentuated by power lines. The designers have to come up with a term for this because...
Here's what we'll call it. Let's have a meeting and we'll decide. There was a meeting. There were lots of meetings. There was coffee. There were briefings. There were minutes from last meeting.
There might have been travel, a boondoggle in there. When you have to measure your grill now in terms of acreage, it's like 19/1000ths of an acre. It's so big. I've been in bathrooms that have a footprint smaller on an airplane than the footprint of this grill. It's
Everybody's
large.
going nuts with their grills.
But that means people move out of your way when they're coming up behind.
You're right. It's just
them.
shield.
They're just like, the grill, move away. which is kind of a nice benefit. But that does define, and I think it suits the character and the car well. It's very luxurious. It's very bold, very strong. Look at the lines wrap all the way around the rear end. The trunk is very unique. It's a concave surface. That's hard to do without looking saggy and goofy. They have pulled this off, all the lines. They continue in a simplistic theme around through the cabin. It just flows. Everything just flows, which is nice. And that kind of thinking isn't new, but they've pulled it off in a fresh way with just details everywhere. Look at the vents. Look at the instrument panel. Look at the integrated screen. It's just very clean,
I think,
which I like.
Genesis, up to this point, has struggled a little bit with their stuff feeling like it was, we're looking at everybody else and sketching. This starts to feel much more internal, like they went, what is our style?
Well, you've got to try the superb driving experience.
I'm going to get over there for all of the driving.
Try this.
There are a couple attempts at classy that I have to call out, though. You cannot connect your phone to the system without hard plugging it in first. Now, I'm a weird guy that I actually prefer hard plugging my phone in for Apple CarPlay. You can't even connect Bluetooth without hard plugging it in the first time. I just find that weird. You and I hop in so many things. It's strange to have an extra step for connection. The other thing that I don't get it. Why do you include the soundscapes? Why are they in there?
Oh, the soundscapes.
I don't need to hear the sound of a busy kitchen or the sound of a forest at dawn. This system really wants to show that off, and I don't like that. Also,
jet engine testing.
Yeah.
Apartment building burning to the ground.
Exactly.
All these soothing sounds.
The L train going by your house.
L train in Chicago.
That was really popular.
The entire building shakes.
The other thing is that
soothing.
This hockey puck interface for this system doesn't work as well as it should. There are times when you just find yourself going, I'm not sure which direction to push, and that's why I have a problem with it. It works fine, it's just not intuitive enough, and so that's my last
It takes
thought.
a moment to get used to it.
It really does take a bit, and that's a little bit frustrating. When I was first driving this, we've had it for a week, when I was first driving, and I had it for a couple days, and I happened to drive my wife and my parents and my in-laws around in it.
Oh, good.
Just at separate times.
Oh, good.
Everyone that got in this, we were like 2 blocks from starting, and they were like, this is awesome. Everybody was surprised by how great this car is to be in and to experience. We are being picky about things we don't like because we drive a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Power, up the ramp.
Surprising power.
It's great. That's what I love about Genesis. It keeps surprising you. And whenever we recommend Genesis, people nod and smile. They give you that knowing look like, yeah, I know all about it. And you don't.
Honestly, this is one of those cars where I'm just like, where are we going?
Yeah.
How much of the day are we going to drive? Because I'd be fine.
And so when you do, you've got this speed control, okay? And it's got the lane assist, and it's got machine learning. For the first time for Genesis, but for the first time for many cars.
Yeah.
And it learns your style of driving. And I had a chance to drive this for a while. It didn't require me to touch the steering wheel and give it the human is still sitting here kind of jerk. But it went for a long time. The problem with the machine learning is you want it to learn quicker and you don't know its limitations yet. Because you'll see a curve coming up and all I was thinking is it going to do that curve? Because I know it'll do the gentle stuff, but will it do that curve coming up?
Yeah.
Turns out it didn't. Whoa, it's a little bit
Guess
too
what? Please be
sharp.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to settling the car, and I turn in, and we both drive faster through corners than most people, because we know what the car settling feels like usually, and we're comfortable doing that. The car and the machine learning is not comfortable doing that.
But again, if you're doing here I am in Kansas on an interstate for the next 4 hours, you'll like that system.
It'll be brilliant. Eastern Colorado through Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa, this car is made for you. It's brilliant.
Yep.
And it does actually help with fatigue because you can kind of reset yourself and refocus your eyes on different things so you're not just doing the tunnel vision thing. It actually helps.
Turbo lag followed by, here we go!
Followed by, this is great! I love it. In all respects, you have to drive the Genesis brand in context.
Yep.
They're not to the AMG and M-level performance versions yet.
And they're not making those. They're trying to be.
So forget the sport.